In the vast and ever-evolving landscape of DC Comics, certain characters blaze across the pages briefly, leaving behind a trail of mystery and intrigue. One such figure is Miss Fear, a pulp-inspired femme fatale, whose legacy, though obscured by time, remains fascinating to comic historians and fans of Golden Age storytelling. Her origins are emblematic of a time when the boundaries between espionage, action, and exoticism were blurred in the world of serialized storytelling. Miss Fear made her first appearance in Black Hawk number 13, published in the spring of 1946 by Quality Comics, which would later be acquired by DC. At the time, Black Hawk was one of the most popular titles in America, chronicling the high-flying adventures of an elite international squadron of WOW-2 pilots, led by the charismatic Black Hawk. Amid this male-dominated narrative soared Miss Fear, an alluring Chinese-American secret agent cloaked in mystery, vengeance, and deadly precision. Created in the shadow of World War II, Miss Fear's character was drenched in the pulp traditions of the era. Her backstory was tragic and ripe for a revenge arc. Her father, a Chinese patriot, had been murdered by enemy forces. Miss Fear vowed retribution, aligning herself with the Black Hawk team to combat fascist and totalitarian threats. But unlike many female characters of the time, she wasn't relegated to damsel status. Miss Fear could handle a gun, speak multiple languages, and hold her own in combat and strategy. Clad in a Cheongsam-like outfit and often depicted with flowing black hair, she was a striking figure, both visually and narratively. However, her presence in the comics was fleeting. After several appearances between Black Hawk number 13 and number 22, Miss Fear vanished from the pages just as suddenly as she had arrived. In an era when comic storytelling was still grappling with how to represent women and people of color, Miss Fear was both a bold step forward and a victim of her time. Her depiction was undoubtedly tinged with Orientalist tropes, casting her as exotic, seductive, and mysterious. But she also represented a rare instance of an Asian woman depicted as heroic and powerful in mid-20th century American pop culture. After Quality Comics was absorbed into DC in the 1950s, many characters were rebooted, discarded, or quietly archived. Miss Fear fell into the latter category. For decades, she remained a ghost in the comic world, referenced rarely, if at all. Her short-lived run and complex legacy made her more a cult curiosity than a mainstream icon. However, Miss Fear's mythos received a modern reimagining in Guns of the Dragon, a 4-issue miniseries published by DC in 1998. Written by Tim Truman, the series was set in the 1920s and introduced a reimagined version of Miss Fear as a martial arts expert and political operative, navigating a volatile world of warlords and revolutionaries. This version emphasized her agency, intelligence, and strength, stripping away much of the 1940s exoticism and giving her a sharper, more grounded edge. Though not a direct continuation of her Golden Age appearances, it paid homage to her character's pulp roots while modernizing her for a new generation. Despite this brief revival, Miss Fear has not yet found a permanent place in DC's crowded pantheon. She remains a tantalizing what-if, a character ripe for reinvention, perhaps as a symbol of female empowerment or as a cultural bridge in a universe increasingly attuned to diversity and inclusion. Her name alone evokes the perfect blend of allure and danger, two qualities that have always made comic book characters unforgettable. Whether as a vigilante seeking justice for her father or a deadly operative moving through the political undercurrents of early 20th century China, Miss Fear's story stands as a testament to the rich, often overlooked corners of comic history. She is both a relic of another era and a beacon for creative possibilities, an unsung heroine who continues to whisper through the cracks of the DC universe, waiting for her next moment in the spotlight.